Welcome back. How We Made It is back. It's been at least a year and a half since we've done any of these, but we're back with a bang in our new office here at Let It Fly Media. I'm Tom Martin. We're going to have Billy Quach and Mick White on as well, talking about the College Football Playoff National Championship recap video. We spent a week in Indianapolis, but this thing took us until like 8 a.m. the next day. Let's watch the video. We'll talk it out afterwards.
I'm ready.
Let's go, baby.
This is my land and I'm feeling the rain. Try me, must be out of your brains. King blood, feel it run through my veins. Conqueror, cause I'm breaking the chains. My land and I'm feeling the rain. Try me, you'll be feeling the pain. Too wild, I can never be tamed. Conqueror, cause I'm breaking the chains. This is my land.
Okay, I believe this is Billy's favorite video ever at Let It Fly Media. Maybe the favorite one he put together in conjunction with Mick. This is Billy Quach and Mick White, by the way. Billy's our creative director. Mick is one of our standout creatives. And guys, this is a fun one. This is a really fun one.
It's definitely one of my favorites. We've had a couple good ones since, but at the time, definitely my favorite.
This was a run-on where we did College Football Playoff, Shrine Bowl, Super Bowl. What am I forgetting? We had like crazy 6 weeks.
I don't even remember.
We were in New York at one
Mick,
point.
yeah,
too.
we did a U.S. soccer shoot. It was your first month. You had like the coolest.
This was my first week. Was the College Football Playoff? Yeah.
Right. We got to thank Katie Cavender, who's a big reason why we were out there in the first place. If you don't follow Katie on social, go follow her. She's amazing. She shouts out creatives all the time. But when you guys first got with us, the crew, by the way, myself, Billy, Mick, and Evan Miller, who I guess is no longer the silent killer. He's on Twitter and Instagram now. I don't know where you find him, but he is. What were you guys thinking? Like, we drive to Indy. We have a week ahead of us for CFP. What were you guys first thinking at the time before we dive into how this video was made?
Well, for me, it was my first week, so I didn't know really any of you quite yet. So I knew Billy from a long time ago, but for me, it was more just an opportunity to kind of meet the squad and hopefully prove my worth. I feel like the video maybe proves that. I don't know.
We were 20 minutes into a 7-hour drive, and Mick said, "So how about some icebreakers?" And I was like, 5 more days of this.
Yeah, for me, is interesting because I've done a lot of football before, but I've never done a college football championship game before. So it was a mixture of we don't know what to do versus at the same time we do know what to do. So that was kind of process going in, is just trying to use all the experiences I've had leading up to this moment, basically, and trying to figure out how to, get the team in the right direction and get what we got.
Just to set the stage for the week, so we spent, I believe it was Monday of that week, maybe Tuesday, but early in the week onward, just capturing for CFP any events they had. And like, there's so many things that go into it. There's fan experiences. There's even stuff regarding the players arriving and getting into practices and things like that. This video, did we even like have this planned out ahead of time? We just kind of did it, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, so part of the deal was that we would make like daily recaps, and so we were talking. We're like, okay, well, let's just make a game day recap for the final day, and then Billy over here was like, all right, well, it's gonna go out at 8 o'clock in the morning.
But getting into game day, we have 4 of us. Billy, as creative director, take us through how you wanted to shoot the college football playoff national championship with 4 different cameras.
Yeah, so that's something we kind of had to plan prior due to equipment. But basically, my thought process was we don't all 4 of us need to be on the field the entire game. So with the 3 of us plus Evan, I figured Mick, Mick and Evan, they could be on the field, and then Tom and I will be roaming around, getting different things from the fans' perspective in the stands. So I think that's one thing that sets this video apart is all the unique angles we got from the stands and all the wide angle stuff that you got from the 14 millimeter, all the stuff I got on the easy rig. But on top of that, having 2 very experienced football shooters in Mick and Evan, I was pretty confident in the product we were about to turn because I knew, with 2 people on the field, you can cover a good amount. You can't cover it all, but you'll cover a decent amount to where we had plenty of angles of everything we needed.
Let's shout out the gear real quick. What were we shooting on?
I think just a bunch of 6K Pros, Blackmagic Ursas, Dieso lenses that we just got. I think we rented the 200 to 400 right there from the Canon rep. So shout out Canon.
That was a 200 600.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was. It was badass.
I got to use it at the very end. The shot of the kissing the trophy. Y'all gave me the 600, and I'm struggling to lift it and stuff. It was huge, but it paid off big time. So the game is going back and forth. I'm up in the stands. I'm trying to get fan reaction. We kind of had a good amount from each team, a good amount of highlights from each team. Late in the game, Georgia is looking like they're going to get the win. Are you guys already formulating the recap in your head? How far were you on this video? Or did it just kind of happen once you guys got back and started going through footage?
Well, so backstory on the recap was the day before the game, Andrew, we were talking about the recap and how it was going to go out the next morning, yada yada, and Andrew could kind of tell that I was maybe a little stressed out or oh shit, this is gonna be a lot of work and a very short turnaround. And so Andrew, he sends me a text the night before the game and he goes, "Just want to say, dude, I had the most confidence in you, and the video that we put out the very next day, that's gonna be the best video Let It Fly Me has ever created, and it's gonna be because of you." And I said, okay.
Bet.
So then, going into game day, I took a little bit of time to kind of find the music that I wanted to use. Luckily, I saved this song. I was gonna use it like a game trailer for USC, but never did. Yeah. Then I had it at the ready, and so turns out perfect song for the game as far as APM goes.
Yeah, shout out APM. I would have, if I didn't know APM, I would have thought this was kind of a real song. It actually hit pretty hard.
Yeah, went very hard. It did. But yeah, as far as during the game though, I wasn't thinking about the recap at all. I was just thinking, what is right in front of me and making sure I don't miss.
I'd challenge Billy on that. Do you when you get a shot though, do you know instantly where that's going, what that could do, or are you not thinking about it yet either?
Honestly, the only aspect of the video that I thought about while shooting was the fan reaction, faces of the fans. Mm-hmm. That small sequence in the video was the only time when I was in the stands, I was like, okay, I got these great reaction shots from these Georgia fans. Now I need to run to the Alabama side to try to get great reaction shots from them in case they win, and kind of have those shots saved in the bank. Okay, if Georgia wins, I have good reaction. If Bama pulls it off, I have good reaction.
Can I ask you as a roamer real quick? It's obvious when Mick and Evan are shooting down on the field, they're shooting football action. But for you, and I knew my assignment was to just not shoot the game. Although I lucked out, I got 1 touchdown when I was down there. I just happened to spin the camera the right way. Thank you. Hey, it was very lucky. But when you're roaming, what were you angling for with your easy rig and your setup?
I think the biggest thing I was thinking about was just unique angles. this is probably one of my favorite football games I've shot because I was allowed to kind of just roam, and I put myself as that position to be the roamer, which I've never really done before. I'm usually on the field following the game and shooting the actual game, which is fun, but there's a different element of it when you're in the stands, and I know in my head, okay, I've got Mick and Evan on the field. I don't need to follow the ball, or I don't need to worry about getting the touchdown or the shot. What shots can I get right now that nobody else in this building is getting? Because I know hundreds of ESPN shooters, hundreds of, social shooters, different outlets, media outlets, they're all shooting the field right now. So what can I shoot that, no one else is going to have? So while I was in the stands, I was focused on faces of fans. I was focused on shooting the action with fans in the foreground, like shooting through fans onto the field. Basically just anything that, I knew no one else was getting because I was in the stands.
And I want to ask you guys, like, along those lines, give me your favorite shots. Like, give me a couple. And we'll have our amazing showrunner, Connor McLean, splice these in. But favorite shots in the video that you guys got, what are they?
In this video in particular, I liked how, before the game, we had kind of our own time to walk the stadium, kind of get the lay of the land, go outside.
It starts with, like, the concerts, and it starts, like, you're kind of getting a sense of what built up to it, which I liked. I think it actually adds something to it.
Yeah, well, all the shots were of that day. I liked getting the Georgia fans, like, right in front of the stadium saying, "Go Dogs." I like that. Other one is the George Pickens catch.
Yeah.
I had just put on the 200 to 600. Never shot with a 600 before, and I was like, okay, I'm not zooming out. So I found Stetson. He throws the ball, and I just panned to George Pickens. I was lucky, caught the focus just in time, and then it was like perfect shot at the right moment, and I was like, thank God I didn't miss.
I also love the one you got a Stetson Bennett walking off at, like, the very end. Like, that was just, I felt like because there were four of us. I want to shout out Katie on this too. Like, giving four of us the chance to shoot the game versus having a person or a couple people, we were able to get every angle covered. What were a couple of your favorite shots, Billy?
One of my favorite shots is
it the TikTok viral one that you did of Bryce Young? Because the whole world was like, who's that guy?
That is a solid shot. Honestly, all of post game.
You're from TikTok.
All of post game was magical.
Yeah.
Like all the confetti, Quavo.
Quavo makes a few appearances.
Yes, the trophy lift. I think 99, whoever that was, they're big.
Jordan Davis.
Yes, Jordan Davis lifting the trophy. That's one of my favorite shots. Another one is the interception that they got to seal it, where Kirby's jumping up into the air. Apparently, somebody from ESPN reached out to us and said literally nobody got that angle. And so they asked us for that clip because they're doing some sort of SEC documentary type thing.
Yeah.
So that's a dope shot. All the pregame shots, I kind of hid in the tunnel for most of pregame. So all of those shots of the players coming out in that lighting was great. But yeah,
there's one that like on its own is not like one of my favorite shots at all, but it's the one right before your shot of Keely Ringo's interception. It's the shot that you put in of Keely Ringo, the ISO shot that I got of him, that I was just making sure that I got every defensive player just in case. And all of a sudden, Keely Ringo seals the deal, and we had the shot, yeah.
A couple of my favorites, I really liked the luck I had. I forget which Alabama player, but it's through the confetti where I rack focused. I had the 600 at that point. Is that John Mechie? Yeah. Shout out Houston Texans. John Mechie is like, and he just turns and looks at the camera right when I racked into him. I'm like, okay, thank God. And then getting like Kirby kissing the trophy and then jumping on the sidelines at the end, like that was really cool. A couple things I want to shout you guys out on this video. And I want to hear a couple of little editing tricks that you had throughout, because I know that there's some Easter eggs. I love like the lyrics of, like, in this case, I thought putting Nick Saban when they say King Blood, and another one when they had Kirby first introduced. Like, you kind of made the most of what are just lyrics, but they actually describe the shots. Like, when you think about editing something and trying to tell that story, like what other things did you do to amplify that?
Yeah, I think that's one thing I'm always looking for is lyrics and matching up, the B-roll you see with the actual words of the song. Something I do in all of my edits. Most recently, Warriors Championship Parade. You'll see kind of the same theme there. But with this one, the song that Mick found was just perfect. I mean, breaking the chain or whatever. Because UGA's had, not much success against Bama, and then they finally do it, and it was perfect.
You knew it was going to happen. I didn't mean to cut you off, but my favorite one that you put on a certain sound is the cigar lighting on like the chain sound, because it's just the dopest like sound effect.
I will say that was one of my contributions.
Nick, you got to explain how this editing process happens.
All right. So
Typical editing process.
First of all, this is my first like big project with Let It Fly. I had never dealt with this many cameras in a setting ever. When you're working college football, you work with 2 cameras and you have the melt.
Right.
Like, that's it. And you know what both the cameras shot the whole time, so fine. This, however, was working with Blackmagic footage, which my laptop hates. Yes. And then secondly, none of it's logged. You don't know what any of it is. So it was like really kind of overwhelming for me at first, because I was like, okay, I have all of this footage. I don't know what the vast majority of it is. And so
what do you first do to like make it click? Like, what's the first thing you do when you feel overwhelmed? You're like, oh my God, how do I do this? Like, what was the first thing you guys did to make it doable?
Well, so first, what I like to do is like I just go through my own stuff first, because I know like what I shot and I know where some of that will fit first. But this video, admittedly, like I didn't get very far with it at all, because I was just dumping the footage and organizing what was what. And then by the time I got the song laid out, by the time I got like kind of the little bit of the beginning portion, it was 4:00 in the morning. And so I'm like, okay.
Running on fumes, man.
Yeah. And so at that point, the plan was, we're going to get back, we're going to take it to mine and Billy's hotel room, and we're going to finish it there, which is what happened. We take it back, and I'm like, Billy, man, like I'm exhausted and there's so much footage. I really just don't even know where to begin with this. And Billy goes, don't worry, dog. I got you. He goes, don't worry, I got you. And so he sits down at our little desk, right? And it's 4:00 and he starts working, and I'm seeing like kind of his workflow for how he works with the footage and his organization. So got a lot of tips from Billy. It was very helpful to see how he would like look through the bins of all the footage, and I didn't know to do this, but what he did was he got all the bins, he sorted them by not like by the list view, but where you can see all the clips, and he would just go through each bin and scrub over them, see what each one of them was.
Not even clicking, just like
just scrub over them.
Yeah.
And like I had never had to do that before in Premiere, which I might sound like a scrub, but I never had to do that before, and so that was really helpful to see how he was going about it. Yeah. But anyways, I'll give my story of it. So it's 4:00 in the morning, and Billy's like, okay, I got you, bro. So I hand it off, and then he starts working, and I'm working with him. I'm like, oh man, dude, Evan, he had this shot. It go here, like the cigar shot. I'm like, oh, Evan got this cigar shot. It could go right there where they say breaking the change. And he goes, I like that. And so he does that, and we go through a few more where I'm like, oh, we could do this. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I can't go anymore, and I fall asleep in the chair. Allegedly, Billy was like, hey Mick, what do you think about this? And he like looks over, and I'm crashed.
There's just no response.
Yeah, no response. I'm crashed. He goes, okay.
Guess I'll have to put the team on my back.
Wait, I'll
yeah, go ahead.
From my perspective, I'm sitting there, I'm driving. Mick's doing a good job of giving some pointers here and there, because I'm trying to get used to the layout and where everything is.
Yeah.
And we have a good I'll work for like 10 minutes quiet, but then I might ask a question or he might say something, and there's like a rhythm to it.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden there's like a 20-minute break of just silence, and I'm like, I haven't heard anything from Mick in a bit. So I look, and he just passed out in the chair, just dead asleep. I was like, okay. Because I think I said, what do you think about that, Mick? And there was just no response. I was like, oh.
that sure wasn't comfortable either. Like I was very tired.
After you've had a day or two to get any sort of rest, thinking back, how do you think you did with the video? What did you, with everything against you, time, all those things, how did it go?
Could have used a few more like Bang energy drinks if they had those at the ready.
I love it. I ask because I think sometimes there's a tendency to be like very second guessing, and I love the fact that you guys aren't at all on this one, and I agree.
I mean, there might have been.
You got to consider how much time you had to make it.
Yeah.
How many camera angles we were working with. I mean, I feel like
there's
for the time that we had to do it, it's perfect.
Yeah.
As you guys look ahead, what do you want to bring to CFP this coming year?
More people.
Indianapolis was like a dream event city. You could walk everywhere, and it was all connected.
I feel like.
I think what's interesting is, we were both there for the Super Bowl as well, and the national championship and the Super Bowl, they kind of have some of the same events that they do. Yeah. And the way that the Super Bowl did it, you had most of everything was like kind of downtown, and they used the LA Convention Center. And then you have the game that's in Inglewood, and that's 30 minutes away. And so it'll be interesting to see where they put everything, because there's also stuff in Santa Monica too, and that's all like 20-minute drives with no traffic to each other. So I think that'll be the biggest challenge, but hopefully we bring more people and we knock it out of the park.
Final thoughts? Anybody else? Anything else that just stands out about the video? That does it for final thoughts.
It is good.
Okay. We'll see you next time on How We Made It.